Hello and welcome back to FT Business School. Business schools have been soul-searching for years about how to reinvent their teaching and their courses for 21st century business. Yet recently businesses have been voting with their feet when it comes to employing MBAs, preferring to take younger students or managers so they can train themselves. So what do business schools have to do to win back recruiters? Ian Clarke is Dean of the Business School at Edinburgh University. Professor Clarke, this is really a very fundamental question, isn't it? Because most people go to study for an MBA to get a better job.
Absolutely, and I think they have been voting with their feet, and I think we've got to do something about it pretty quick.
So you obviously, as a dean, you obviously talk to recruiters. I mean, what are they saying to you? What do business schools need to do?
Well, I talk to them all the time, as you'd expect, and I think what I'm hearing from CEOs of a lot of the top companies is that they're looking for something that's very different. They're looking for, if you like, triathletes. And like triathletes.
So what's a triathlete?
A triathlete is somebody, obviously, who in a sporting sense can swim and cycle and run, and the business equivalent is people that can work across different sectors. So it might be working across business and government and civil society, but equally it might be working across different functions, different sectors, so retail and technology, business and healthcare and so on.
So do you hear businesses asking for global leaders?
Yeah, but not in isolation. They're looking for much more rounded people who can integrate the organisation, who are balanced, they can work across disciplines, and they can glue the organisation together and work out solutions to difficult and often wicked problems. So they want people who are good leaders, they want people who are comfortable with data, they want people who are also creative. So it's that rounded beast that they're looking for, more than just the global bit, but that's a key dimension of it, of course.
Okay, we hear a lot that actually business schools are teaching things which are effectively too technical, and what actually companies want are managers who can work in teams, who can get on with other people. Is that something you're looking at Edinburgh? Absolutely.
I mean, one of the key areas we've invested heavily in is working as leaders in teams and developing the sort of capabilities and skills that you're required to do that.
Okay, so you have both an undergraduate, you have an undergraduate, master's, MBA, PhD program, so you're a full service business school. Are you actually seeing changes in recruitment patterns across that sector?
I think it's getting more competitive across all those levels. We're seeing more of an interest actually in, on the one hand, in the general degrees, but also in the specialist areas. So, for example, we're in a master's program in carbon finance, which is probably as specialist as you could get in a business school.
Just a final question, really. 10 years from now, can you give me one area or one point in which business schools will be very different from what they are today?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the one thing for me that would stand out would be that we'd find ways in the business school of the 21st century, if you like, of immersing our students, our delegates, our executive delegates into those different contexts that I've talked about. So, for instance, we've just had our MBA cohort come back from 10 days in Colombia, in Bogota, and they've been working there with one of the biggest drinks companies. They arrived off the plane, they went into the organisation, they were briefed by the board, and they spent a week really trying out some of the skills and understanding the organisation and the pressures to understand what it takes to develop business in an emerging market. And at the end they presented back to the board and flew back. So, really tremendous opportunity to learn in context and practice the skills that we're talking about.
Professor Clarke, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
For more features and videos on reinventing business schools, go to ft.com/business education.